Saudi Arabia has spent $5.3 billion building LIV Golf from nothing. And according to multiple major news organizations reporting at the same time this week, they are now on the verge of walking away from all of it. But here is the detail that completely changes how you have to read this story. On the exact same day the Financial Times broke the news that the Public Investment Fund was about to cut its support for LIV Golf, the PIF released a brand new 5-year domestic investment strategy. Golf was not mentioned once, not a single word. That is not a coincidence. That is a message. If you love dramatic stories about the huge money and big personalities shaking up the game of golf, even if you're just getting into it, hit that like button right now and subscribe. Let's walk through everything that has been reported this week, because the full picture is more complicated and more dramatic than any single headline can capture. The massive money involved, the star players who bet their careers on it, the CEO's desperate response, the hidden geopolitical pressures, and the terrifying uncertainty now facing the dozen or so of the world's best golfers who signed enormous contracts and burned their PGA Tour bridges to join LIV. It all broke on Wednesday, April 16th. The Financial Times, one of the most respected financial newspapers in the world, reported that Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, PIF, was on the verge of cutting its financial support for LIV Golf. The language was serious. An announcement could come as soon as Thursday. Within hours, the Wall Street Journal had its own version, saying the league faced imminent closure. The Athletic confirmed the reporting independently. Even Ryan French from Monday Q Info had flagged the night before that something big was coming. 3 major outlets, all pointing in the same direction. The numbers in this story are jaw-dropping. The PIF has pumped more than $1 billion into LIV Golf in each of the years 2021, 2022, 2024, and 2025. The 2026 injection alone was $266.6 million, personally approved by PIF Governor Yasser Al-Rumayyan. The total spent since LI launched now sits at $5.3 billion. At the burn rate LIV was running in 2024 and 2025, roughly $100 million per month, the league is on track to exceed $6 billion in Saudi money by the end of this year. For context, the PIF is a sovereign wealth fund with nearly $1 trillion in assets. $5 billion is not pocket change even for them. But after 4 years, LI Golf still has no major television rights deal, almost no meaningful ticket sales revenue, and losses running into hundreds of millions of dollars every single year. No path to profitability has appeared. Make sure you're subscribed. This is exactly the kind of story we dig into every week. The structural problems with LIV have been obvious from day one, but they were never fixed. The original 54-hole shotgun start format didn't earn official World Golf ranking points for years, so LIV players watched their world rankings drop and their chances to play in majors slowly disappear. The team competition that LIV heavily marketed never really caught on with fans. They switched to a 72-hole format in 2026 and finally started earning ranking points, but the early damage to the league's identity was already done. Some events, like the ones in Australia and South Africa in 2026, drew huge crowds of over 100,000 people and showed real global interest. But even with those bright spots, the entire league remains almost completely dependent on Saudi money to keep the lights on. Warning signs have been flashing for months. Brooks Koepka, one of the biggest early signings, who reportedly received at least $100 million, left before his contract ended in late 2025 and returned to the PGA Tour. Patrick Reed departed in January 2026. When star players who were paid life-changing money to leave the PGA Tour start finding ways back early, that tells you a lot about what they're seeing from the inside. The most expensive headache right now involves Bryson DeChambeau, who is in tense negotiations with LIV over his future. Jon Rahm signed with LIV in December 2023 for an estimated $300 million, the largest individual signing bonus in the league's history. $300 million. He is now playing for a league whose long-term future is suddenly in serious doubt. Then there's the bigger geopolitical angle that turns this from a golf story into something much larger. Saudi Arabia is juggling enormous international pressures right now, including the ongoing conflicts in the Middle East. Reports suggest they may be looking to redirect sports spending toward projects that better serve their broader Vision 2030 goals. They are also pouring money into hosting the 2034 FIFA World Cup and investing heavily in boxing, Formula One, soccer, and tennis. LIV Golf has consumed the most money while delivering the least visible return. The same day the Financial Times story dropped, PIF Governor Yasir Al-Rumayyan announced the new 5-year domestic investment strategy. The focus was entirely on building competitive local economies inside Saudi Arabia. Golf was not mentioned at all. In the middle of a global news storm about LIV's future, that silence spoke volumes.
LIV Golf CEO Scott O'Neill had to respond quickly. He sent an email to staff that was soon made public. He was as firm as possible. The season continues exactly as planned, uninterrupted and at full throttle. He called the reports rumors and false, said the tour was 100% funded through the rest of 2026, and flew straight from a New York board meeting to Mexico City to meet players in person at the next event. He had previously told people at the Masters that LIV was funded through 2032. That difference, funded through the end of 2026 versus funded through 2032, is the detail creating the most tension right now. Meanwhile, the PGA Tour has been watching all of this from a position of unexpected strength. When LIV launched, it looked like an existential threat. The PGA Tour responded by raising prize money dramatically and securing big investments from wealthy owners. The much-hyped 2023 framework agreements between the two sides went nowhere, but the PGA Tour stabilized. It kept most of its top players and its television deals intact. The players still inside LIV are the ones facing the hardest questions now. Many walked away from PGA Tour careers, Ryder Cup chances, and easier paths to majors in exchange for guaranteed money that was supposed to set them up for life. That money was real. The contracts were real. But if the PIF decides after 2026 that the investment no longer fits their bigger plans, the legal and career fallout for those players could be messy and expensive. $5.3 billion spent, 4 years of operation, no major TV deal, no sustainable business model, a CEO flying across the world to reassure players that everything is fine. The Financial Times doesn't publish stories like this lightly. The Wall Street Journal and The Athletic don't confirm reporting of this scale without solid sourcing. Something real is shifting inside LIV Golf right now. Whether the final announcement comes this week, this month, or at the end of the season, the direction is becoming clear. Saudi Arabia built something the golf world had never seen before. They spent more money on it than almost any sports project in modern history. And right now, the most powerful question hanging over professional golf is brutally simple. Was it worth it?
If you want more no-spin breakdowns like this, the huge money moves, the player drama, and what it all means for the future of golf, make sure you're subscribed. We're pushing hard toward 10,000 real golf fans who appreciate when someone connects all the dots most coverage ignores. So tell me in the comments, do you think Saudi Arabia will completely walk away from LIV Golf after 2026, or will they find a way to keep it going in some form? Reply with "walk away" or "keep it going" and explain your reason. I read every comment and reply to the strongest ones. One more thing before you go. $5 billion later, the golf world is still waiting to see if this expensive experiment changed the game forever, or if it ultimately becomes one of the most expensive what-ifs in sports history. If this video opened your eyes to what's really happening behind the scenes, share it with a friend who follows golf. I'll be back soon with the next big story that actually moves the needle.